Hello everyone, welcome back to the lecture. So in this lecture, we'll try to understand what are the different components of a PB structure. So I'll be making around 2 to 3 videos on this. We'll try to understand this. Okay. Yeah. So this is the entire PB skeleton of your PB skeleton. So if you're going for normal RCC structure, usually we have a footing column, then we have a plinth beam, then we have a ground floor columns, then your beams will come, slab will come, and staircase will come, right? But in case of PB, there are a lot of components which we need to understand, and we'll try to understand it. So the first one is called as a primary structural system. Okay. So what are these primary structural systems? They are called as portal frame. So you can see this particular columns, right? So this particular column one, like I'll start from here. Yeah, this one. This is one column. This entire thing we call it as a rafter. Okay. And there is one more thing. So this entire thing is called as a portal system or a portal frame. In the same way, this is also your portal frame. This entire thing, what you can see, it's a portal frame. So it's a primary structural system for us. Got it? All the frames, what you can see here. That's the first thing. Now come to the second part. Next one, what we have is a secondary structural system. So they are called as purlins, girts, and eave struts. So what are these purlins? So you can see the one which in the top, this one, this, all these are the purlins which we have provided. Okay, and we call them as a secondary structural system. The same purlin, when you provide it on the wall, we call it as a girt. Like this thing you can see, this thing, similar this thing. Okay, wait 1 minute. Yeah. This one, this one, this one. It's a purlin only, but since it is provided at the wall level, we are going to call that as a girt. Next is eave strut. So eave strut in the sense, so this level what you call, no, this one. Okay, it's a eaves level what we call. From here to here, it's called as a eaves level. The beam or the strut which you put at this location, this one, we call it as a eaves strut. Everything is purlin only. If you're putting at the roof level, we call it as a roof purlin. If the same is put on the wall, we call it as a girt. And if the same is put on this particular corner, then we call it as a eaves strut. Got it? Because it's a eaves level. So that is why we call it as a eaves strut. Now, why it is called a secondary structural system? Because you need to understand, after this, the sheetings are going to come. So the load from the sheeting will be transferred to the purlins. Got it? From the purlin, the load will be transferred to the rafter, and from the rafter, the load will come to the column. So since these columns and rafter, we call it as a primary structural system, and purlins, girt, and eave struts are the secondary structural system. Okay, because from the purlins and from the girts, the load will come to the columns. So that is why these are called as secondary structural system, and portal frame is called as a primary structural system. Okay, and next one what we have is a structural subsystems, that is bracings, jack beams, end wall, and canopies. So what are these bracings? So you can see one arrangement which has been done here. Can you see this one? X mark. So these are called as bracings. Similarly, it has been done here. So these are called as bracings. So what do you call them? We call them as a structural subsystem. So why this has to be given, we'll try to see in the next lecture why this bracing should be given and all. But now just try to understand that these are called as structural subsystem. Jack beam. So the beam which has been provided here, okay, this beam we call it as a jack beam. We'll try to understand why jack beam has to be given, when it will be given in the later part. End wall. So the wall which is going to come in this direction, okay, so it's an end wall for me. And then the canopy. So canopy is right now, I don't have any canopy, but just in case if you put one canopy like this from this portion, okay, so this will be my canopy. So it's called as a structural subsystem. See, whatever I'm trying to tell, just note down all these things. And if you're able to understand, it's well and good. If you're not able to understand, then also it's okay. Because in another 2-3 lectures, we'll be covering up each and every component, and then you'll be okay with all these terminologies. Okay. For now, whatever you're able to understand, just absorb it. There might be a lot of doubts in your mind, like why the bracing is given here, why it is given here, why there is no bracings here. Those things we'll be covering up in the upcoming lecture. Next is skin panels and accessories, that is the roofing sheets, side cladding, and wall cladding, we call them as a skin panel. So what is this skin panel? Say, right now you have put up purlins, right? So directly will not put this system into use. Okay. Over that we are going to cover it. So that covering that is done by the sheeting, roofing sheets. So this roofing sheets we call them as a skin panel. For example, like I'm wearing a shirt, right? So it's going to cover my body. In the same way, this entire system is a body, but you need to cover it. No. So that is why the skin panels will come into play. So one is at the roof we are going to put, and similarly, if you're going to put it on the wall, then we call it as a wall cladding. Got it? Yeah. After that, building accessories. See, once you put up all this system, your building is not completely done. No. What is PB? It's called as PB system. So when each and everything is put up, only then we can use it. So by putting the portal frame, by bracings and all these purlins, your building is not into use. You need to give proper windows, proper doors should be given. So those comes under the building accessories like doors, windows, rolling shutters and louvers. Like for example, here there is no rolling shutters. Later I'll show you one more. But let us say you have one rolling shutter in this portion. You can see this part. All these are the windows you are given. Maybe somewhere you are going to give your door and all. So this comes under the building accessories. Next is flooring system. So in the flooring system, we have mezzanine, walkways, and platform. So you can see this particular floor, isn't it? It's called as a mezzanine floor. So why this mezzanine floor should be given? See, this PB structure, they'll have a more height, right? Maybe at certain height, you need to give a platform or you need to give a platform for storage point of view. Then we create such kind of platform, such kind of system, which we call as a mezzanine floor. In the first, what is that? Showroom construction, we had put the floor and all, no? So those are your mezzanine floors and all. So how this mezzanine floors are done? It's very simple. You are going to put the primary beams, then your joist beams are going to come, and over that you are going to keep that decking sheet, and over that you are going to put the reinforcement, and the concreting will be done. You can see the concrete written here. You can see these deck sheets. So it's called as a mezzanine floor. Walkways. So walkways, where is walkway? Yeah, you can call this, not this one. Yeah. So right now we cannot see a walkway here. Somewhere they'll be giving a walkways and all. Maybe in the later part I'll show you. And then certain platforms will be given. Okay. Yeah. And next is finally the foundation also is going to come, because whatever load will come, it has to be transferred to the foundation, right? So foundation, you can see it here. So foundation can be again isolated foundation. It can be a combined foundation. It can be a piles. It can be a rough, depending on the nature of the soil, depending on the call taken by the structural engineer. We'll adopt different foundation. Next is a gantry girder. So gantry girder will come here. Okay. So gantry girder in the sense, see, all these are your industrial buildings. So if you like, there will be a lot of materials which will be stacked here. Maybe from this place, you want to carry the material here. So a person cannot carry those material because they are like 5 ton, 10 tons material. So in that case, we are going to put up this thing, EOT, that is electric overhead traveling crane and all. So you can see the hook which has been put up here, right? From here, it will be lifted and placed wherever it is required. So there we have two terms called as long travel and cross travel. We'll try to see that. So it's called as gantry girder for us. Okay. Yeah. So understood the entire thing. So this was a basic understanding what I have given about this PB structure. Only 5% I've explained. In the later part, I'll be explaining you few more drawings. All these things we need to understand. Then I'll be explaining this entire thing. Only then, again, I'll be explaining you each and every 29 parts are given here. We'll try to understand each and every part. Right now, whatever you're able to understand, just try to revise it. See, you have to note down all these things. Don't just listen to my lectures. You'll forget everything. Write down all these things. Okay, and I won't be giving you any notes. You know that if you have taken any of my course, I don't provide any ready-made notes. I don't do any spoon feeding. So write down all these things. Whenever you write down, only then you'll be able to understand it. It will take some time. That's fine. That's totally okay. Sometime I get this thing. What is that? Students ask me, sir, I'm a working professional. I don't have time. See, it's okay. You're a working professional. Everybody has 24 hours. Okay. So what you do is, even if you're coming back home late, it's okay. Just spend another half an hour. Okay. If you're sleeping for 6 hours, sleep for 5.5 hours. Remaining half an hour, you put your efforts to make your own notes so that you will remember it for your lifetime. Got it? If I give a ready-made notes, it will be there in your mobile or in laptop, and you will never open it. So that is the reason. What I do is, I don't give any notes. Yeah. So let me quickly repeat what I've done so far. So this was a PEB skeleton structure. which I had explained you. We have a primary structural system, that is your portal frame. Then we have a secondary structural system, the purlins, the girds, and the eave strut. This is called a secondary structural system. Then we have structural subsystems, that is your bracings, then the jack beams, and the end wall and canopies. These are called as structural subsystem. Then we have something called as skin panels. The roofing sheets, what you put, those things are called as skin panel. The one what you put on the wall, we call it as a wall cladding. Then we have building accessories like the doors, the louvers, the windows. That comes under the building accessories. Next comes the flooring system. That is, we have mezzanine floor, we have platforms, we have walkways. Then finally, the foundations are going to come. Foundation can be isolated, combined, pile, raft based on the call taken by the structural and the geotech consultant. And then the gantry gird is going to come. Got it? So I hope you have enjoyed my lecture up to here. In the next lecture, we'll try to understand few more points. We'll try to understand a lot of terminologies. And by the time in the next 2 to 3 lectures, you will be good enough to understand each and every component that is given in the PEB skeleton. So I'll see you back in the next lecture. Thank you.